Hare Krishna, Pranam everybody. Jagannath Prabhu, I think Gopal Prabhu may not be able to join. I mentioned that to you today.
Okay, no problem. Prabhu, you want to start now? Should we start?
Yeah, we can start, Prabhuji.
Okay.
We can do the prayers and then.
Yeah. Gita Mataji, you want to lead prayers? Will.
Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pestaya Bhutale Shrimate Gopal Krishna Goswami Niti Namane Prabhupadasya Sahityam Ya Prakasam Vitiracha Pracharan Kitvan Sadhu Bhavat Padaya Te Namaha Namah Vishnu Padaya Krishna Pestaya Bhutale Shrimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Niti Namane Namaste Saraswate Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Jai Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare 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 Krishna.
Hare Krishna. So, reading Jagannath Prabhu, I think you may have the exact bookmark. I think I had somewhere on page 12 or page 213. But since we are reading the second part, which is the 26 jewels of devotion, you can do like a quick activity. It's not really a quiz, but I put the link in the chat. So what we will do is we can just reflect on again what we read in the foreword and introduction, and then those qualities. So if you go to that link that I put in the chat, this is everybody able to see my screen and able to join as well there? Okay. Okay, so this is basically, so again, kind of meditating on those qualities that we read about, the Sadhu Bhushanam, the 26 jewels, like qualities, divine virtues that we were reading about. So this is basically, we just get some feedback from everybody here, so I'll basically share some pictures of Maharaj here, which have been from the book basically that we have been reading so far. So looking at those pictures, and meditating on them, and then what comes to your mind in terms of the virtues, the jewel-like qualities, the 26 the Sadhu Bhushanam ornaments that you think of, that comes to your mind when you meditate upon Guru Maharaj's pictures here. And then you can enter your you can enter your thoughts and word. I think you can put like three choices there. Then we'll see how everybody's thinking, and then it will basically form a word cloud there, so we can see what all the disciples here are thinking in terms of the qualities of Guru Maharaj. So this is the first one. I think if everybody has the link, if not, I'm just putting it again in the chat. But this is the so this is looking at these pictures. What comes to your mind in terms of the mood, divine mood, and the qualities of Guru Maharaj? It could be one of those 26 Sadhu Bhushanam, or anything that comes to your mind in terms of Maharaj's virtues. So once you start entering those here, we'll see how what everybody is thinking. And say I can go ahead and enter what comes to your mind
on the chat.
Sorry, Krishna Kshetra Prabhu, you had a question.
So we have to put it on the chat?
Not in the chat, the link that I shared in the chat. If you go to that link, and there you'll be able to enter it. Nice. I'm seeing a lot of inputs now. Yeah. So yeah, go ahead and keep entering your thoughts there. Nice. Okay. Right. So we see the big words here are very mild, it's kind, dedication to Guru, his humility. Yeah, those are the big things. It's like many of the disciples and devotees here are thinking about Maharaj's qualities. Merciful. Yes. Nice. Okay, very nice. Thank you. I'll probably take a picture of this and then I'll share it later. And then there's one more after this. Let's do one more. So these are few more pictures here in the second part of the book that we are reading now. Again, go ahead and enter your thoughts, any qualities. To Guru, surrender, Guru Nishtha, very nice. Selfless service, yes, leading by example. Respecting everyone. Friendly, joyful, compassionate, meek, no material desires, without possessions, very nice. Yeah, this helps us reflect all those qualities that we have been reading about. Yeah, all of those are embodied by Guru Maharaj. No material desires, very steady, surrendered. Very peaceful, respect to everyone. Yeah. Awesome. Very nice. Thank you so much for all of your reflections. This was the first one, and then this was the second one. Yeah. Okay. Okay. Thank you so much for that quick kind of revision of what we've been reading. So
We're on page 215, bottom, or actually 216. Loknath Maharaj, His Holiness Loknath Maharaj, cites Gopal Krishna Goswami's quality of expertise.
okay, thank you, Prabhuji. Very good. Okay, so yeah, so now we can start reading. So who would like to start reading? Maybe you can just start raising your hands, and then we'll go in that order. Thank you so much. And I can share my screen for those who don't have the book. Is that visible on the screen?
Yeah.
Okay. All right. So I see Geeta Mataji. You can start.
His Holiness Loknath Maharaj, Godbrother, Initiating Guru, and author of Bombay is My Office. Loknath Maharaj cites Gopal Krishna Goswami's quality of expertise. In this brief reminiscence, Loknath Swami, recalling Prabhupada's deep appreciation of Gopal Krishna, can you move the screen, please? Goswami's major accomplishments on assignment in the Soviet Union alludes to Gopal Krishna Goswami's quality of expertise. Prabhupada selected Gopal Krishna Goswami to work with Soviet government officials to authorize the installation of his numerous books in libraries throughout the Soviet Union. Gopal Krishna's success was stellar. Loknath Swami read Prabhupada a message recounting the success of his disciples' mission of book installation, and Prabhupada's enthusiastic response is an indication of how well he was pleased. Loknath Maharaj recounts, since we had not done any solicitation or any endeavor in this regard, Prabhupada was very happy that the Russian government was appreciating and inquiring about his books. He said, reply to it immediately. In March 1976, Srila Prabhupada entrusted Gopal Krishna to preach in Moscow with the mission of putting his books into major libraries in the USSR. In the next 2 years, Gopal Krishna went to the Soviet Union several times, representing the Bhaktivedanta Book Trust, and he successfully presented Prabhupada's books to Russian libraries. In early 1977, at the Moscow Book Fair, the organizers presented him and the BBT an honorary certificate. Srila Prabhupada was happy to receive this, and with pride, he showed it to everyone who visited and said that his books were appreciated even in Russia. Srila Prabhupada read the Sankirtana newsletters with relish. Gopal Krishna Goswami said that these newsletters were the first thing in the day's mail that Prabhupada opened. Prabhupada glorified the book distributors by saying they were very dear to Krishna because they did the frontline work. Krishna immediately recognized them as true servants, no different than during a war when a clerk or farm boy goes to the front and sincerely fights for his country. Immediately he becomes a national hero. Similarly, Krishna immediately recognizes a preacher who takes all risks to deliver his message. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, you can zoom in a little bit if possible. I think you can, yep. There you go. Yep, much better.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhu. Yeah, Leela Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. His Holiness Swata Swarup Maharaj, God brother and author of Srila Prabhupada Leela Amrita, biography of Srila Bhaktivedanta Swami. Maharaj cites 6 outstanding qualities of Gopal Krishna Goswami: expertise, humility, mildness, peaceful, sense of control, and gravity. His Holiness Satswarup Maharaj, acting in the same capacity as the Loknath Maharaj of Srila Prabhupada's secretary, recall an instance similar to the one Loknath Swami cited above. He remembers and writes about his reading a letter to Srila Prabhupada from Gopal Krishna Maharaj, in which Maharaj expressed a desire to step down from his managerial role because of the vigorous complaints against him coming from another devotee leaders. Satasura Maharaj recounts, as Prabhupada's traveling secretary, I was reading the mail out loud to him in Hawaii. One was a letter from Gopal Krishna. In India, Gopal Krishna said that it was becoming difficult to deal with all God brothers and that he had decided to resign as GBC man for India. He wrote that his God brother even said that the Prabhupada thought of him as a person who is useful only for going to see people in Indian government. They did not think of him as a real devotee. When he heard that, some of the disciples said Gopal Krishna was only good for seeing government agents. Prabhupada smiled. It was not a smile for me to see, but his personal reflection, his thinking of that disciple. In this smile, he seemed to access and understand why the God brother would say that about Gopal Krishna, and he shared the amusement. But Prabhupada, the smile, also felt the hurt, and he identified with Gopal Krishna himself. Why should they minimize him in that way? Of course, I probably read some of these feelings of my own into Prabhupada's smile. One cannot really read the mind of the pure devotees. I also thought that Prabhupada was thinking there was nothing wrong in using his disciple in that way, to see government meant for Krishna's service. In his musing above, Satarupa Maharaj alludes to having intuitively recognized that Srila Prabhupada was not swayed by the complaints against Gopala, but was instead inwardly appreciated of both Gopal Krishna's singularly expertise in performing the many difficult tasks service assigned to him, and of how understandably it was that some of his disciple contemporaries might become resentful of the extraordinary accomplishments he continued to achieve. And as we shall see in a moment, Sataswarup Maharaj intuitions was born out of when Srila Prabhupada subsequently directed him along with 3 other of the leading men at the time, Kamal Krishna Goswami, Rameshwara Maharaj, and His Grace Pushta Krishna Prabhu, to solve the problem by giving full support to Gopala. Prabhupada wanted these 4 leaders to unequivocally support Gopal Krishna as the most highly competent leader for India developments, bar none. The 4 prominent managers drafted and sent the letter to the managers with authority over the individual who was vigorously campaigning against Gopala, and the matter was thus resolved. Hare Krishna.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Jai Govind Prabhu. Oh, you are on mute, Prabhuji. Jai Govind Prabhu.
Thank you. Also implied without being stated are several other of Gopal's qualities. For instance, Gopal Krishna's humility comes from the fore. He was prepared to resolve the matter by withdrawing, as does his mildness. He expressed no rancor towards his detractors. His peacefulness, he expressed no self-recrimination. His meekness, he didn't indulge the difficult to receive tendency to complain. And his sense of control, he didn't defend himself in response to the criticism directed at him. He expressed no anger. Also notable are the qualities of gravity. He didn't reveal his feelings caused by the hurt offered him by his detractors. And perhaps most important, we are offered a glimpse of Maharaj's insusceptibility to Maya. Maya, by definition, is Krishna's illusory energy, which often bewilders souls, causing them to abandon good sense and good behavior. Gopal Krishna Maharaj, however, didn't consider abandoning his service to Prabhupada. Rather, he turned to Prabhupada, reported the situation, and awaited Prabhupada's response. His Grace Hari Suri Prabhu recounts in volume 3 of A Transcendental Diary. During those days, when dealings between devotees were somewhat rough, Srila Prabhupada got the news that Gopal Krishna Maharaj was facing some difficulty in management in India. Srila Prabhupada called for all the GBC men present in New York, Tamal Krishna, Rameshwar, Pusta Krishna, and the newly arrived Satsvarup Das Goswami. He discussed the matter with them, handing them the responsibility to provide a solution. Based on Srila Prabhupada's comments, the 4 GBCs drafted a letter affirming their confidence in Gopal Krishna Maharaj's managerial abilities. Please accept our humble obeisances at your lotus feet. It has come to our attention that Gopal Krishna Maharaj, now Maharaj Das, is feeling very much disheartened. It is the conclusion of all of us that Gopal Krishna Maharaj's service is very, very important, and that there is none of us capable of achieving the results that he has in managing his centers in India. It would be best if Gopal Krishna Maharaj oversees the entire GBC responsibility for Vrindavan, Bombay, Hyderabad, etc. Please see that Gopal Krishna Maharaj is encouraged, as Srila Prabhupada feels very strongly that Gopal Krishna Maharaj is indispensable to our program in India. We feel that Gopal Krishna Maharaj has done a remarkable amount of service and achieved results that none of us could possibly achieve in such a short time. We trust that you will cooperate and see that the situation is improved in dealings concerning Gopal Krishna. That's from A Transcendental Diary, Volume 3.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Okay, next is Radhika Kishori Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. His Grace Hari Sauri Prabhu recounts in volume 3 of A Transcendental Diary. During those days, when dealings between devotees was somewhat...
Mataji, sorry, I think we are reading from Her Grace Devi Shakti Mataji.
I'm sorry, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Her Grace Devi Shakti Devi, celebrated book distributor and god sister. Devi Shakti Devi. He works for everyone's benefit. He is steady and he is always surrendered to Krishna. As we shall see in the narration below, Devi Shakti Devi has very high regard for Gopal Krishna Goswami. A person who is trained in Krishna consciousness can easily see how what she has to say about Gopal Krishna Goswami indicates, among other things, that he is always surrendered to Krishna. However, without training in Krishna consciousness, the quality of being always surrendered to Krishna may not be so easy to discern in her words. Why is that? The answer is that sometimes the 26 ideal qualities can only be recognized as such by persons who know the science of bhakti. Otherwise, explanations need to be provided for clarification. For example, one acquainted with Vaishnava culture and values will readily see that in Devi Shakti Devi's recollections of Gopal Krishna Maharaj's service, she cites 3 of the 26 qualities. Namely, he works for everyone's benefit, he is steady, and he is always surrendered to Krishna. Anyone who reads that what she says will easily recognize her appreciation of Gopal Krishna Goswami's quality of steadiness in his service. Likewise, from what she says, it is easy to see that she appreciates the fact that he works not selfishly to benefit himself, but selfishly to benefit everyone. However, for one unfamiliar with Vaishnava culture, it might be hard to understand how her reminiscences identify Gopal as being always surrendered to Krishna, or in other words, a devotee of Krishna. The riddle is easily solved, however. The answer is given in the Adi Purana's description of the criterion that earmarks one who is always surrendered to Krishna. The relevant text from the Purana quotes Krishna. One who claims to be my devotee is not so. Only a person who claims to be the devotee of my devotee is actually my devotee. Adi Purana. Hari Bol. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Mamta Mataji, next.
Hare Krishna Prabhuji. And the Srila Prabhupada explained, commenting on the Puranas, no one can approach the Supreme Personality of Godhead directly. One must approach him through his pure devotees. Therefore, in the system of Vaishnava activities, the first duty is to accept a devotee as spiritual master and then to render service unto him. Thus, we see that the Adi Purana, an important proof text for Vaishnavas, establish an axiomatic truth, namely, the quality of being always surrendered to Krishna is evidenced indirectly by one surrenders to properly qualified guru. But how would one know that without its having been taught to one as an axiomatic truth central to Vaishnava culture? But in fact, that is Vaishnava understanding. Full surrender to one's guru rectifies the fact that one is seriously engaged in Krishna service and not simply offering lip service. One who is actually rendering meaningful service to his or her guru is actually serving and pleasing Krishna because he or she is conforming to Krishna instruction as stated above in the Adi Purana. So when Devi Shakti notes that Gopal Krishna Swami stands in his devotion to Prabhupada lotus feet and his dedication to carry out innumerable order that Prabhupada gave him, and in his absolute determination to maintain the standard that Prabhupada wanted. She is, according to Vaishnava culture, identifying him as a always surrendered to Krishna.
Yeah. Thank you, Mataji.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Venu Madhuri Mataji.
Devi Shakti Devi have been working under Gopal Krishna Maharaj all these years since he became a GBC interviewer. What do you think are his most significant assets in his service to Srila Prabhupada? Devi Shakti Devi, his staunch devotion to Prabhupada's lotus feet, his dedication to carry out innumerable orders that Prabhupada gave him, his absolute determination to maintain the standard that Prabhupada wanted both as a GBC and BBT trustee. Interviewer, what do you think of Gopal Krishna Maharaj's mood while viewing the Glory of India temple as a project in service to Prabhupada? Devi Shakti Devi, well, I have heard Gopal Krishna Maharaj quoting in his lectures that Prabhupada had wanted 7 temples in Delhi. I believe that's what he said. So maybe 7 or 11. Yeah, I can't remember what the number was, but this was all because Prabhupada would spend a lot of time instructing Gopal Krishna Maharaj privately on what he wanted. So I assume that from all those instructions, Gopal Krishna Maharaj is trying to fulfill all the personal instructions that Prabhupada had given him. So I assume that this Glory of India project is also one of the many, many instructions that he received from Prabhupada. Interviewer, but did Prabhupada really want such a big project as Maharaj has done? Devi Shakti, Devi, Prabhupada wanted the whole world to be Krishna conscious. So this is small in comparison to what Prabhupada wanted. Shall I continue, Prabhuji?
Thank you, Mataji. Srimati Mataji.
Hare Krishna. Interviewer, how can the disciples of Gopal Krishna Maharaj imbibe some of his key qualities to serve the movement? Devi Shakti Mataji, if they could have one fraction, just one small fraction of the devotion that Gopal Krishna Maharaj has for fulfilling Prabhupada's desires, then their life will be successful. If they can just help Gopal Krishna Maharaj to carry out all the numerous instructions that he received from Prabhupada, then certainly when he goes back to Godhead to be with Prabhupada, they will all go with him. Lovely. Interviewer, kindly recollect some of your early experiences while serving in cooperation with Gopal Krishna Maharaj in Vrindavan before his assuming the role of GBC, and after assuming the role of GBC, and after assuming the service of being an initiated guru. Devi Shakti Mataji, well, he was the GBC here practically the whole time when I was in Vrindavan. Prabhupada had made Gopal Krishna Maharaj as one of the trustees in his will. It was Akshayananda Swami, Guru Kripa Swami, and Gopal Krishna Das. Out of the three of them, it's only Gopal Krishna Maharaj who has remained and has been steadily serving at the lotus feet of Srila Prabhupada without deviation. Interviewer, what is the difference in his role after assuming the service of Guru? Devi Shakti Mataji, Guru, I don't see much difference. Just now he has more helpers who can help him carry out these instructions that Prabhupada gave him. He is still absolutely determined in everything. All the instructions that Prabhupada gave him. He has no separate life. I've never seen him with any separate life other than trying to fulfill Prabhupada's instructions. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you. Yeah. Sandip Prabhu, Srinivas Pandita Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Danvat Pranams. All glories to Srila Prabhupada. All glories to Sri Guru and Gauranga. His great Sri Kalagnya Dasa, ex-temple president, Sri Sri Radha Parthasarathi temple and ISKCON leader. Sri Kalagnya sees that Gopal Krishna Goswami is always surrendered to Krishna, has no material desires. He is steady, controls his senses, he does not eat more than required, and he is not influenced by the Lord's illusory energy. Sri Kalagnya relates how surprised he was at his first meeting with Gopal Krishna Goswami. At that time, Sri Kalagnya's service was receiving newly arrived devotee leaders, situating them comfortably at the temple and making sure that their meals and other necessities were well taken care of. But from the moment they met, Gopal Krishna Goswami Maharaja impressed Sri Kalagnya by being so intent on his service that he showed absolutely no concern for his niceties. Instead, he demonstrated the quality of not eating more than required. That whole first day in England, Gopal Krishna Maharaja chose to neglect eating or resting and opted instead to vigorously pursue important opportunities he would lined up to expand the growth of international society. He was specifically intent on building a temple, and he was keenly interested in pursuing a productive lead he had. Sri Kalagnya relates what happened. The way it started is that I met Gopal Krishna Maharaja in London. One of my services in Bhaktivedanta Manor was to receive sannyasis and gurus and arrange all the necessary things for them, that is, pick up accommodation, food, take them to the programs. I used to arrange programs for them also. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, thank you, Prabhuji. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Hare Krishna. So the first time I met Gopal Krishna Maharaj was in the mid 1980s. I can't remember if it was 1984 or 1985. I picked up Gopal Krishna Maharaj from London Heathrow Airport at around 7:30 in the morning. Normally the routine would be that I would take them to the temple and then do the needful. I was pretty impressed and surprised that as soon as Maharaj came out of the airport and sat in the car, he said, "I want to go to this place." So what was that place? That was the Hinduja Foundation office. It was right downtown central London, and I knew central London very well. So I just drove straight to the place in the midst of the traffic and everything. And he was very concerned that we get there by 10 o'clock. He had given time for 10 o'clock. And driving to London that time in the morning, it does take a couple of hours. Well, I took the roads that I knew and I got him there just in time. And then we met with Sri Chand Hinduja, the eldest brother of Hindujas, and Maharaj started showing him the different designs that different architects had done for the Delhi temple. So, different proposals. There was a big mountain at the site and it was made of soft granite. One of the proposals made by an architect was to cut into the granite and then the temple would be inside the mountain. It was like going into the cave. And then other than that, there were two other designs also, the sketches that had come up. So we discussed that and then we left from there. And then when we left from there, Maharaj asked me to take him to a couple of other people, well-to-do people. And in those days, we didn't have cell phones. The only communication was a landline phone. So of course, my wife would normally prepare the rooms and prasadam and everything. She was waiting and wondering what's going on. And our temple president was wondering if I picked Maharaj at 7:30 a.m. Why am I still not there at 12 o'clock or 1 o'clock? So initially I thought it was just Hinduja's office. But then when we went to a few other business people's office, then I requested if I could use the phone, and I called the temple and told them that actually I'm already on the road for preaching, and that's what Maharaj wants. 7 o'clock in the morning or 7:30, I picked him up, and about 7 o'clock in the evening, you're getting into the temple. And that was my introduction, which was very impressive. I had never seen a sannyasi or guru being so intense, so aggressive. Wasn't concerned about eating, wasn't concerned about taking rest or anything. He's like, his meditation was, this project has to take off. Hare Krishna.
Krishna. Ratikala Manjari Mataji.
Hare Krishna. All glories to Srila Prabhupada, all glories to Guru Maharaj. His Holiness Bhakti Vishna Goswami cites GKG's quality of non-criticism. His Holiness Bhakti Vishna Goswami speaks about how Gopal Krishna.
His Holiness Bhakti Vijnana Goswami. The GNS is the gear.
Vigyan Goswami, okay. His Holiness Bhakti Vigyan Goswami speaks about how Gopal Krishna Goswami exhibits the quality of never finding fault with others, of strictly avoiding sadhu ninda. Bhakti Vigyan Maharaj reminisces. Out of the numerous qualities of Maharaj, one that is outstanding is that he never speaks ill about anyone. In his position, he comes across many issues regarding problems being faced by people, and I have noticed how careful Maharaj is that he never speaks badly about anyone. He is very careful when speaking with others and only sees the good qualities in. Can you move it down, Prabhuji?
Yeah.
In them. If somebody approaches him regarding their faults, he doesn't name them explicitly, but gives a very sound solution to the whole situation. That's his nature. Her Grace Manasi Ganga Mataji. Manasi Ganga Mataji recites Maharaj's quality of non-enviousness. Her Grace Manasi Ganga Mataji has had the same insight into Maharaj's character. She regards him as being free of fault-finding, and so she recounts. Maharaj is one person who, like Krishna, overlooks all your bad qualities and just looks at whatever good qualities are there. Gunagrahi, that's my personal experience. So many times I have seen it, so many times I have heard. Maharaj will request, please contact so and bring him back, even in the case of someone who has treated him badly. He's so forgiving, just like Srila Prabhupada, who was always so concerned that we don't lose even one devotee. Maharaj is the same. Whether you've treated him badly or not, I mean, I've not shouted at him, but I've shouted at in his presence. He'd say, Manasi Ganga, you're shouting. This has happened 2 times, but one time he instructed me to just keep quiet. You just agitate people's minds, he said. He didn't chastise me so much as he instructed me how to improve. He just doesn't see my bad side. I feel so secure with him because I see him as someone who knows my shortcomings, but overlooks the faults to see whatever little good I have done. It's such a secure feeling. The qualities I admire in him are that he is the real sadhu, in that he never ever criticizes anyone, even a small bhakta. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Mataji. Rajiv Shankar.
Hare Krishna. Early correspondence from Srila Prabhupada, March 1969 to January 1977. Any thorough appreciation of Gopal Krishna Goswami must acknowledge his mastery of the invaluable art of working alongside others. He constantly demonstrates the ability to work well, not only with those who share his values, dedication, and goals, but with anyone and everyone. In this, he manifests the quality of Samadarshinaha as extolled by Krishna in Bhagavad Gita. Vidya Vinaya Sampanne Brahmane Gavi Hastini Shuni Chaiva Shwa Pake Cha Pandita Samadarshina. The humble sage, by virtue of true knowledge, sees with equal vision a learned and a gentle Brahman, a cow, an elephant, a dog, and a dog-eater or an outcast. This splendid, rarely achieved ornament of devotion enables Gopal Krishna Goswami to interact in ideal ways with whomever it is that he encounters in his service, irrespective of the degree of other person's spiritual advancement. This then accounts for his ability to achieve undreamed of outcomes which others find impossible to even imagine. And likewise, it also accounts for Gopal Krishna Goswami's manifest ability to imbibe in the space for a few short years all of the invaluable teachings and qualities of his spiritual master, His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, was intent on imparting to him to ensure his success in pushing forward ISKCON's mission. Let's look at series of letters he's got from Prabhupada from 1969 to 1977. Thank you, Prabhu.
You can finish this paragraph, Guruji.
Oh, okay. In this correspondence between master and disciple, we'll see the affection, sensitivity, and expertise with which Prabhupada mentored his brilliant disciple. We'll also see Prabhupada's appreciation for remarkable aptitude with which Gopal Krishna Goswami absorbed all that he was being offered. In one early letter dated 16th March 1969, Prabhupada responded to a long letter from his student by writing back to him.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you. Dawn, Leah Mataji.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Prabhu. My dear Gopal Krishna, Please accept my blessings. I beg to acknowledge receipt of your letter dated March 7th, 1969, and thank you very much for it. I am so glad that you want to chant 16 rounds of Hare Krishna mantra every day, and you can chant immediately, but you should also at the same time follow strictly the 4 principles of restraint and avoid the 10 kinds of offenses in the matter of chanting. It will be quickly effective. I'm very glad to learn that you have vowed to follow these 4 principles as far as you can in your lifetime. Here, Prabhupada is offering his highly qualified and receptive disciple crucial instructions about the necessity of strict performance of the practices of Bhakti Yoga. We see from Gopal Krishna Goswami's career in ISKCON that he never has faltered or had difficulty in following this invaluable instruction. Prabhupada also stresses the need for strict adherence to regulative principles of regulative principles of freedom discussed earlier in part 1. Prabhupada is preparing his new disciple for the highest levels of success, which indeed he has achieved by grounding him in the open secret of how advanced Vaishnavas succeed. Perform sadhana strictly, follow the regulative principles strictly, and live always in the company of the holy name without departing from the consciousness of what Krishna desires of his devotees, namely impeccable Vaishnava behavior. That is the Vaishnava's open secret. It is how a serious devotee can achieve wonderful degrees of success in all that he aspires to do for Krishna's pleasure. He continues, and because you are so sincerely trying to push yourself in the matter of Krishna consciousness, Krishna is giving you some intelligence also, and you are thinking in so many nice ways in the matter of serving the Lord. I am so glad to hear it. Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu.
Thank you, Raghupati Prabhu.
In this early letter, Prabhupada encourages Gopal by repeating several times how pleased he is by Gopal's enthusiasm and his willingness to apply himself to the strict discipline of Krishna consciousness. As we shall see, neither the gladness Prabhupada expressed on reading Gopal's letter, nor the encouragement were lost on the young Gopal Krishna. In the same letter, Prabhupada hints to Gopal that the sky is the limit for one who takes up the practices seriously and who wishes to play a role in turning the dream at the core of Prabhupada's budding mission into a reality. Prabhupada goes further. He tells Gopal Krishna Goswami that if he is willing, he has a crucial assignment for him in India, one dear to Srila Prabhupada's heart and the very crux of his life's mission, namely to rekindle pure, unadulterated Krishna consciousness in the land of its origin, India. Hare Krishna.
You can read one more, Prabhu.
Okay. He wrote to Gopal, excuse me, you are returning to India by August of 1970. Do you think that you will not come back again in Canada? If so, then I shall give you some work which you can nicely perform in India, informing them about the Krishna consciousness movement in the Western countries. To tell you frankly, one of the objects of my missionary activities is to bring to notice of the educated Indian public that devotional service originated from the Indian side in its pure form. Thank you, Prabhu.
Anybody else would like to read? You can complete this letter at least.
I can read, Prabhu, if you want. Leela Krishna Das.
Yeah, sure. And if anybody else who has not read so far.
No, if anybody else wants, I think is okay, or I can finish this paragraph.
Yeah, okay, go ahead, Prabhu.
So after disclosing to 1 minute, let me prove. I think my video is not. After disclosing to Gopala his grand intentions to divert India from his misdirected embrace of the materialism of the West, Prabhupada makes it clear to Gopala that the way to achieve this rekindling of Krishna consciousness in the people of India is, first of all, through the publications and mass distributions of his spiritual literature. Later, we see that Srila Prabhupada had every hope and expectations that his highly qualified disciples could carry out his most cherished objective, the inundations of India with pure, unalloyed Krishna consciousness. Prabhupada's faith and hope are evidenced by the fact that he positions Gopal Krishna Goswami as the person in the charge of the BBD in India. In the letter, he also speaks to Gopala about the need to build temple to serve those whom he knew would be drawn to spiritual life as a result of inundation which he himself had begun and which he had faith would be perpetuated by his disciple Gopal Krishna. In his letter, Prabhupada makes it clear that temple constructions must keep pace with the rapid development of Krishna consciousness as it explodes in Delhi and the rest of India. After outlining his intention, Prabhupada concluded by telling Gopala how valuable his contributions can prove. So I shall be very glad to utilize your energy in this Krishna consciousness movement as you are a willing volunteers. May Krishna bless you with the more Krishna consciousness activity and you will feel a glorious life by Krishna grace. I wish that all your good desire may be fulfilled without delay. Thinking you once more, your well-wisher, your ever well-wishers, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Hare Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. Jagannath Prabhu, Advaita Chatur, do we continue reading or we stop here?
We can wait for a few more minutes.
Okay. So I see one more hand up, Sundar Mukunda Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. In the next letter, dated May 1969, Prabhupada writes back to Gopala Krishna, welcoming him as his newly initiated disciple. I have to scroll up, Prabhu. Then addressing Gopal's concern about objections raised by his birth family over his adoption of Krishna consciousness, and especially over Gopala's activities within the movement. Prabhupada asks, and why should you inform them all of the details of your activities? Prabhupada goes on to suggest that although there is no guarantee, it is likely that in time Gopala's parents might have a change of heart. They might actually become pleased when they begin to appreciate the glorious nature of Gopala Krishna Goswami's commitment. Prabhupada knew that his disciple had already committed to ISKCON without reservation, and then he saw the International Society as his larger, all-inclusive, eternal spiritual family. Still, Prabhupada hints that with patience and with some effort on his part as a loving and good son, it could well be that Gopala's birth family would also become convinced of the great merit of their son's dedication to ISKCON. You have been doing, and as your name is already Gopala Krishna, there is, Prabhupada wrote, my dear Gopala Krishna Das, please accept my blessings. I beg to acknowledge receipt of your letter, sent along with your japa beads, and I have duly chanted upon them and initiated you as my disciple. So you should go on with your chanting as I have been doing. And as your name is already Gopala Krishna, there is no need of changing your name. So now you will be known as Gopala Krishna Das. Try to follow the regulatory principles and avoid the 10 kind of offenses. Next, you shall be initiated by the offering of the sacred thread. So in the meantime, you can convince your parents to give up their objections. But if you are personally determined, there is no question of any objections. No one can check another's spiritual advancement on the plea of any material relationship. There are many instances of someone accepting the spiritual line, despising all family relationships, And the best example is Lord Chaitanya himself. I do not know why your parents are so upset, so you should convince them that there is no need for this. And why should you inform them of all the details of your activities? Of course, as an honest son, you have done the right thing. But if they object and if you have to obey by their orders, I don't know how things can be adjusted. I am enclosing the letter I received from your parents, along with my reply to them. So you may do the needful. I hope this will meet you in very good health. Your ever well-wisher, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami. Prabhu, I go on or like one more?
Thank you, Prabhu.
Yeah,
I think this is good.
Thank you so much.
So we can take any reflections now, Prabhuji. If anybody would like to share anything from our reading today or from previous weeks also, anything that comes to mind.
Yes, Prabhuji. Yeah, sure. So, Venu Madhuri.
Yeah, Venu Madhuri Mataji.
Yeah, yes. Yes, just, I mean, whatever we have read so far, I mean, today, there's innumerable qualities which we discussed before has been reflected in various different letters, in various different situations. And he's got a very, very sort of unique ability to handle any situation. So sometimes I read one of Prabhupada's letter, they say the master of all situations. Any situation he can deal with. So this is very, very unique quality which Maharaj had, Any problem anywhere in any temple or in any organization happening there around, Maharaj got a solution for it. So it's very easy. So it is basically the purity. Is so much purity and so much sort of, you can say, ability to handle anything, to tackle anything with ease, So this very unique quality Maharaj had, yeah. And the solution which we cannot found in this sort of thing, people go to Maharaj and that 50% solution comes by seeing his face, by interacting with him. 50% of the problem is solved there itself, So it is really very, very remarkable there, which is very, very unique. And it is like the like you see, it's like some sort of when you see the Krishna's picture, there is natural attraction comes. So it's that sort of magnet, It's a sort of magnetic thing is in there, which has the ability to solve anything. It's very, very rare and very unique sort of thing. Thank you, Prabhuji.
Thank you, Mataji. No, I can only remember, I was saying that in any situation, like you were saying, I think Maharaj always remembers the Lord and ties things back to Lord. And I've had few in-person interactions, but one thing that I remember was when we came to Detroit recently, when Maharaj came last year, we were going for our Japa walk. And I think there was one person who was fishing, one person was, I think Madhukrishna Prabhu, you were there, I think, during that walk, I believe. But one person was like, just standing there, very, like he was kind of smiling, or he was walking across. I think he was, and he was very in a jovial mood. And I think when he was looking up, and I think Maharaj said, you're enjoying the nature. And he said, yeah, it's a beautiful weather, beautiful day today. And Maharaj immediately said, it's God's energy, Krishna's energy. So yeah, in any situation, he'll just connect back. And I think that person, because I remember we met him again at the end, and he was still so happy and so jovial, when we were exiting out of that park. So that's amazing. Thank you, Mataji. Raghupati Prabhu, I think you have your hand up.
Yeah, I think I fully endorse what Venu Madhuri was saying. So Guru Maharaj is known as the troubleshooter in ISKCON, and over the last 30 years, 35 years, I've seen, it happened time and time again. One time, Mathura Vrindavan Board, Development Authority, they wanted to widen the road which goes outside our temple in Vrindavan. And in order to do that, they wanted to break part of Prabhupada's Samadhi. So this was just a very anxious time for everyone. That how could they do that to Prabhupada Samadhi, not Prabhupada Samadhi, but outside Prabhupada Samadhi, the place where we have the fans. And we were very, very anxious. But then Guru Maharaj was in Russia at that time, and he phoned Ganpati Prabhu, arranged meeting with the Vrindavan Development Authority, and somehow they agreed that that area will be just left as it is. So before we used to have entrance from Samadhi side, now we have entrance from the back. So this is just one instance, and there are many, many instances. There was a time when ISKCON was misheard in India for one article published in ISKCON Journal that mentioned the child abuse. And it became very, very difficult because newspapers are looking for fuel, and they found something against ISKCON, and then it was just going round and round in different newspapers. But somehow the Guru has settled that situation, contacting of the very high officials, government officials, newspapers. So there are innumerable instances where wherever there is any danger to ISKCON or reputation or anything, Guru Maharaj is always there. And then he solves the situation amazingly, and like it never happened. So I thought I'll just share that.
Anybody has any thoughts on that? Yeah, Jagannath Prabhu,
Yeah, I think we have at least 5 hands up, so sorry. But let's hear everyone's thoughts. Rupanuga Prabhu, right, is next, I believe.
Yes.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna. Srila Gurudev. So actually, I was going to talk about the quality of forgiveness, and along with that, tolerance of Srila Gurudev. This happened, I think, late 80s. Excuse me. There were 2 god brothers and their wives, 2 god sisters. So 4 of them decided to leave Guru Maharaj. And we were quite friendly with them. So we tried to ask them, what is the reason? What's your problem? What is your issue? Nothing. We just didn't want. And we tried and tried and tried, and no answer, but we just don't want to be a disciple anymore of Guru Maharaj. So, not much we can do. Guru Maharaj came and he tried to explain to them very nicely, nothing. Next year he came back and tried again, nothing. A year after he came and talked to them also, but he found out that there was another devotee, a disciple of another Maharaj, a wonderful Maharaj actually. He was encouraging them to not go back, and he was the one that convinced them to leave Guru Maharaj. So I personally heard this conversation between Guru Maharaj and this devotee. And Guru Maharaj was actually pleading with him to stop doing this. He was saying, nobody wins, you don't, they don't, and you have nothing to gain by this. Why are you encouraging him? And he was pleading with him that it's not a good thing to do. It's not good for his own Krishna consciousness, all sorts of things. But I never once saw Guru Maharaj get angry, raise his voice, or show his frustration, despite, real rascal behavior from this guy. And finally, Guru Maharaj said, it's no use, he gave up. And, I guess that's the end of the story. But my point was that I just never saw him raise his voice to this guy. I was getting angry. I wanted to strangle him because he's such a rascal. But not Guru Maharaj, just very calm, very quiet, very peaceful. And he said, okay, as you wish. That's it.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna. As I was listening to the reading today, what struck me was simply that Guru Maharaj has so many instructions from Prabhupada, and you know, so many instructions he's getting, and never once does he say this is not I can't do this. This is too much. You know, I can't do these temples. I can't do that. He always just falls in line and says exactly what Prabhupada asked him to do. And one of the thing I'm reading from Daivi Shakti Devi Mataji is he said, oh, all the people were there and now they're all gone, but yet Guru Maharaj is still there. And the other thing I'm so impressed with Guru Maharaj is we can tell he had a great relationship with Prabhupada. It was never really intimate, right? He was never there all the time like some of the other disciples were with Prabhupada. But yet, anytime he took a letter, anytime he heard any instruction, he took it right to heart and did it. And I wonder sometimes if I am failing that, because Guru Maharaj will say something and I'll say, oh, okay, all right. And then I don't take it as seriously as Guru Maharaj has taken Prabhupada's instruction. So I think it just leads an example for me specifically on how to follow through on instructions given by our Guru Maharaj. So I found it to be very, very very, very powerful today. So thank you for allowing me to speak. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Thank you, Prabhu. Sachimata Mataji.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam, everyone. So as I was listening to the reading, the quality that struck me most was one of the Matajis saying that he's like Krishna who never sees the shortcomings of anybody, and he tries to see only the good qualities. And so I was thinking, you know, like how much we have to learn from him. He's such a perfect role model for us because we deal with these situations, and it is a natural tendency to pinpoint the, you know, like the shortcomings of people and get angry. But so that's all I wanted to say. You know, like he's just a perfect role model with all these qualities, and all we need to do is follow his footsteps, whether it's following Guru Prabhupada's instructions. And just like Prabhuji said, I also feel, you know, sometimes I fail to do, like he's so much emphasis on book distribution. So, but I am not doing enough. So I just wanted to say that. Thank you. Thank you so much. Haribol.
Thank you, Mataji. Yeah, this is like, as you're all mentioning this, and even like this letter that we were reading, right? Like 1969, I think that was the time Maharaj got initiated. Actually, I have that Prabhupada calendar. And just yesterday, April 21st, there was a quote from Prabhupada, or kind of a letter reply to Gopal Krishna Maharaj. And so that, and I'm connecting this, and it all feels so much like what you just mentioned. I think when Prabhupada mentioned him something, immediately he took it to heart. And like that, the first instruction, like he carries that forever. I think that yesterday's letter Prabhupada had mentioned, I think Maharaj had sent something to Prabhupada. And Prabhupada was mentioning that I'm so happy with the way you're thinking. You're trying not to commit any offenses towards anybody, you know, and this is the most important thing. And I think this will help you and your Krishna consciousness. So that was his instruction to Maharaj, and that was in 1970, and these letters are in 1969. So I'm just trying to correlate the timeline, you know, in that this was like the initial period when Maharaj had joined the movement, and since then I think whatever instructions Prabhupada had given him, he's taken it to heart, and he's kind of a living role model, like we all are saying. So thank you, Mataji. Krishna Shitra Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Guru Maharaj, Prabhupada. I was just meditating today. For the first time, I saw how Prabhupada addressed the concern that Guru Maharaj had some objection with his own parents. How Prabhupada was an expert in addressing those concerns, how he explained to our Guru Maharaj and how he also explained to his own parents, right? And he put everything transparently. He said to our Guru Maharaj, here is the letter that I've enclosed that I've addressed to your parents. And it's reminded us like how Lord Krishna himself explaining everything to Arjuna and then telling Arjuna, you decide now what you want to do. So how Prabhupada is an expert in addressing those concerns. Thank you.
Advaita Acharya Prabhu.
So yeah, in this regard, I think when Krishna Kshetra Prabhu mentioned about that Guru Maharaj Prabhupada was so expert in handling the situations. And if you look at Guru Maharaj, is exactly following same in his footsteps. He does always, there are so many other God brothers, sisters, initiations problem. Guru Maharaj also handling same way. He does not want to have any conflict between the family and the disciple, future disciple. So he's doing the same way. I was reading about, looking at the reflections from the Harishwari Prabhu. He mentioned about that when Guru Maharaj had problem in India, and some of his God brothers giving hard time to him, and he was not complaining, but he wanted to resign and he wanted to do some other service. And finally, Prabhupada felt that this is not going to be good for India and preaching point of view. So he gave orders to these 4 disciples, right, to draft a letter and send a letter to Guru Maharaj. Now, when you look at this, how Prabhupada understands that this is a future, and when you look back now, this is from 1967, 69 or 70s, and now you look at back after 50 years, 40 years, and how truthful and how Prabhupada has really seen in Gopal Krishna Maharaj. And this is and the connection that he reflects in his last letter that we read, that Prabhupada is giving blessings to him. So may Krishna bless you with more Krishna consciousness activities, and you will feel a glorious life of Krishna's grace. And we can see that today. So Guru Maharaj's life is so glorious and gracious, right? This is connection between Guru and disciple. So intimate relationship, and same time Guru Maharaj is actually exactly follow what Prabhupada has desired. I think that's a little what you call lessons for us. Of course, we cannot do that, but at least we can try.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Yeah, a true devotee can only read another devotee's heart, like you said. Yeah, Prabhupada already was able to see that 50 years ago, like you said. And yeah, Guru Maharaj has lived up to that expectation.
Yeah, so is this from day number 1, the first connections. And that we believe that that's called eternal relationship between Guru and disciple.
Prabhuji, I just wanted to add something. So I have experienced this with Maharaj also, that if you have a sincere desire to serve, he empowers you. Somehow he knows it and he empowers you. Just the desire has to be sincere. And that's what probably, because in Prabhupada, just empowered Guru Maharaj because his desire to serve Krishna was so sincere.
Yes.
I think we have really, most of us must have experienced this, that, that if our desire is sincere, it happens sooner or later, he will empower you. Just wanted to add that.
Thank you, Mataji. Srinivas Pundrika Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, thank you, Prabhuji. So I was just very impressed upon all the good qualities of the Maharaj, and particularly that impressed me more and meditating on it is the, Guru Maharaj's quality like Gunagrahi, That is, he sees one of the good qualities of others, and he's typically avoiding the sadhu ninda, right? Not finding fault with others. We all have fault ego. When you go somewhere, we always expect respect, and we always want it to be treated. And if somebody does any fault, we always sometimes shows it in our face or in our actions. But this is a great quality. I was just meditating on it. He never speaks ill about anybody, and even he never speaks badly about anyone. And also the way that Guru Maharaj handles this opposition or anything against him, right? Not contending or defending, right? He raises that issue with Srila Prabhupada for a solution. That's also a great way of handling, great management technique. And that's what I want to share, my reflection or realization. Thank you.
Thank you, Prabhuji. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu.
Hare Krishna, everyone. I just wanted to also point out one quality of Guru Maharaj specifically that I've we read today about it in the book, and also so many devotees from their own examples, they are talking about the same quality, and it's the quality of averting crisis and conflict management, and that is something that Guru Maharaj has done so many times, and he continues to do in ISKCON, because it's natural that in a large organization like this, different people will have different opinions, and some of them will be very strong opinions, and then they will come into conflict, and there has to be somebody who everybody respects and who can avert that crisis and manage that conflict. And Guru Maharaj has done it so many times, and with his own personal example, he showed when in that letter that Advaitacharya Prabhu was talking about by Harisharu Prabhu, that when there were troubles, the devotees were against Guru Maharaj, and they were not even considering him a real devotee. All he does is just back out, not trying to defend, not trying to raise a concern, not try to prove himself, just back out so that everybody is peaceful. And of course, Prabhupada did not like that. Prabhupada wanted him to be there, so he made sure that he is part of the India project. And now he is one of the most important parts of the India project. Similarly, the recollection of the Mataji, I forgot her name, Manasi Ganga Mataji, I think, that we read today. So she says that, in a couple of places, she was speaking very passionately, and she was kind of angry. She was kind of rebuking someone maybe. And Guru Maharaj just told her that, please be quiet so that others don't get agitated. So again, the same quality, he does not want anybody to be agitated. He doesn't want to create a conflict, always trying to, mellow things down, bring them to a nice, Krishna conscious level. And other examples also that devotees gave later in life when he averted so many crises. So that's something that I was meditating on, because I recently was hearing, some of the different qualities that a Krishna conscious mentor should have. And one of them is to not have very extreme opinions about things, and not to agitate people, not to disturb people's minds with their, different ideas about Krishna consciousness. And we see that in Guru Maharaj's example so many times. So I was just appreciating that.
Leela Krishna Prabhu.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji. Actually, I was about to say about this Manasi Ganga Devi that incident, but Prabhuji already covered that. But I want to touch on one of the letter when Prabhupada is asking that you are going to India, you are not coming back to Canada, right? And he was asking some task, okay, can you perform this? One of them is the building the temple. So looking at that letter in 1969, and after that's one of the incident we saw that he landed in the Heathrow airport. And the people will travel like us. Whenever we land, we think, okay, let's go back home and take rest. And that's our mentality. Okay, we are going to plan next day to meeting anyone, because I'm traveling 10 hour or 12 hour. I don't know, Guru Maharaj is traveling from where. He's thinking, okay, from the airport. Oh, he already knew that at 10 o'clock I have a meeting with the Hinduja brothers. And after that, and this or that entire day, he could have easily take the rest. But the thinking that instruction from the Prabhupada, that letter, and the making sure that he should able to show all the architect diagram to the Hinduja brother and get whatever the blessings, he's okay, this is what plan is, this is what the temple we are going to build. So that clearly shows that he took that instruction so seriously. That is the one. I want to just reflect that one. Those letters came in 1969, and this incident after happening after maybe 20 years. But that consciousness is that my priority to landing in the airport, I have to meet the person, which is very urgent. That's one. And the second is one of the incident of the Prabhupada I read somewhere, one of the devotee was left the temple or something, and the Prabhupada called that one, okay, how he could leave the temple. Similarly, we see some reflections on our Guru Maharaj. Any devotees has any conflict or this, he know that making one devotee, as Prabhupada said, it took a lot of sweat and a lot of blood to bring one devotee sincerely, right? He don't want to lose any devotees. So that happens few times, and I heard one of the incident with the Guru Maharaj also, and he said that yeah, he's not happy or something. If he come back, I will forgive him. So it shows that these qualities, what we read in last week also. So he don't want to lose any devotees. It doesn't matter he is from his disciple or from other Maharaj. He wants to bring him back, and he doesn't have anything like regret. Okay, he did this one. He doesn't want to chastise anyone. Right? He wants to bring those devotees. Anyone connected with the Krishna consciousness, he wants to make sure that for the lifetime, he's a devotee. Thank you, Prabhuji. That's the thing. I know most of the points which I was thinking. I was raising the hand, but everyone is covering those points. I said, okay, what I'm going to say now. So, so thank you, Prabhuji. Thank you so much. Hare Krishna.
That is so nice. I mean, yeah. It's like all of us are meditating and reflecting on these qualities. Hopefully we get, like I think it was mentioned, even if we get like one fraction of what Guru Maharaj has in our lives, I think that will be success of our lives. So thank you all for your realizations. Jagannath Prabhu, Aditya Prabhu, anything you would like to conclude with?
I think Aditya Prabhu, you want to give health update since we have a little more information, just general health update. And then you can give your thoughts, whatever else you have.
Guru Maharaj is, I'm sure we see every day videos and his pujas and his giving dikshas now. And for last 3 days in a row, I think he, like 200 plus devotees is giving initiations, 3 hours sitting in a chair. It's too much for him, but he still wants to do it. He wants to finish the task before Nursing Day, appearance day. And after that, he probably will need some testing done. And so we are hoping that everything stabilizes and then Guru Maharaj can be better. So we're still thinking about his traveling and he still has desire to come to USA. I'm not sure what time, but I think that's the plan. So overall, he's stable. He's working very hard, as we discuss in the book also, and reading this books, find out that from airport he goes to Hinduja's family, right, to meet project. I mean, this is his plan. And still today, is the same thing. After 50 years, he's doing the same thing. He does not any wasted time. He just goes. His program is very, very booked every day, wherever he goes. So this is him. This is him. He is not going to change at all, and his dedications to Prabhupada is tremendous. We cannot even think about it. So he wants to continue to do all this preaching work. He wants to do a couple of projects. He's not taking any new projects in the hand right now, but he wants to finish those things because health is concerns to him also. But I think our prayers and Krishna's mercy is going on. So, and hopefully we can continue to have that kind of his association for a long period. So keep on praying every single day without fail, whether he's sick or not sick. He's happy, I mean, healthy or not healthy. Just, I think we have to keep on praying to the Krishna. That's all. So I think we are very fortunate and we should continue to pray.
Sure, Prabhuji. Geeta Mataji, you have something to say?
Yes, Hare Krishna. So Guru Maharaj called me yesterday around this time, and he said that he is Krishna willing, he will come to the US in July, August. So that's what he said. Hare Krishna.
Yeah, I spoke to Krishna Priya Prabhu. He called me just this morning, and he was saying same thing, that health willing Guru Maharaj wants to come to USA. And I think again, like Janardhan Maharaj said last meeting, and I think this time he may just be here for 2 weeks, maybe 10 days. So I think we'll have a meeting with different cities leaders, but we request everyone to consider, coming to Washington and not disturb Guru Maharaj, requesting him to go to other cities, because it will be now difficult for him to travel. So I think Janardhan Maharaj wanted to speak to North American devotees about this. Spoke to Janardhan Maharaj yesterday also. So I think he wants to have a meeting with different cities and make sure all devotees are aware of it, and somehow everyone can come together whenever Guru Maharaj comes. Date we will not know till probably 4 or 5 weeks before, unfortunately. And that's still assuming his health allows. I think we can conclude here. I had one story to share, but maybe we can do it next time if it's late for devotees.
Go ahead and finish it.
Okay, so I go to Delhi every year, and Sadhu Hriday Prabhu, I don't know, for those who don't know, Sadhu Hriday Prabhu is temple commander. He's pretty much chief operation CEO for the East of Kailash temple. So he organizes all these big festivals. He's always working very hard. And I think this was 3 or 4 years ago. So he told me this last year. So I think 4 years ago, either there was a boat Snan Yatra festival or boat festival, I forget. But the East of Kailash temple does it outside of the temple, not outside, but not inside the temple hall, within the temple premises. So the weather obviously can't be raining when that festival is supposed to happen. So he had made a lot of arrangements. He had invited a lot of VIP. Delhi, as you know, whenever they have a big festival, a lot of politicians, a lot of government leaders, a lot of celebrities, they invite as many people as possible. So they know people, if the big people goes, a lot of other people will go because of them. So anyways, he had made a lot of these arrangements, and day before, just maybe 14 hours before, there was a big rainstorm coming, thunderstorm, where East of Kailash temple is. So he went to speak to Guru Maharaj. Guru Maharaj, the previous night, Guru Maharaj said, okay, come, let's see tomorrow. Come see me tomorrow, and we can think about it. So he goes to Guru Maharaj first thing tomorrow, saying, Guru Maharaj, clearly the weather is not looking good. It's like 100% chance of major thunderstorm. And Guru Maharaj just said a few sentences. He said, don't worry, it won't rain. And Sadhu Hriday Prabhu tells me, Prabhu, you will not believe, for that 8-10 hour period, somehow Lord Indra or weather gods somehow listened to Krishna's pure devotees, just one sentence, that won't rain. And for those 10 hours, no exaggeration, Sadhu Hriday Prabhu can tell it. Nothing happened. Everyone came. They held nice festival. And he said, as soon as we were done with festival and we were, cleaning up, it started raining like crazy. So a lot of times, again, some may say that you are emotional, but pure devotee, Krishna always makes arrangement. I mean, I've been arranging his so many programs. A lot of time, his schedule, you wonder how is he going to make all of these things happen? But somehow Krishna always makes arrangements. So that's the story of the week. We'll have more to share. Haribo.
Thank you. Glory. All glories to pure devotees.
Vanchiko Pratharuvasya Kripa Sindhu Evacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavyo. Shila Prabhupada ki jai.
Jai Shila Prabhupada
ki jai. Our Gurudev ki jai. Haribo.
Thank you. Hare Krishna.
Haribo.
Hare Krishna, everyone.
Hare Krishna.